Los Angeles past couple of days, and we'll get talking about that.
The anti-ICE protest in Los Angeles heating up after President Trump deployed National Guard troops bypassing California Governor Gavin Newsom. The demonstrations first starting after immigration authorities conducted a series of sweeps, arresting more than 100 people on Friday. LA's police chief says most of the protests in the city have been peaceful. He calls the scattered violence disgusting.
Moments ago, there's some projectiles being thrown. Just moments ago, a motorcycle seemed to try to break through the police skirmish line.
Protesters at one point shutting down the 101 freeway. Apparent flashbangs going off as police work to reopen the major roadway.
All down there just tearing up shit, just tearing down the whole Los Angeles for no fucking reason, bro. Just let me know y'all really don't give a fuck about these people. The fact that you niggas sat down there and destroyed the Kobe and Gigi mural, bro. Just let me know, bro. I don't give a fuck about y'all no more, bro. Dude, bro, y'all use situations like this just to go around fucking town burning it up. Now, what the fuck is y'all burning and destroying shit for in the goddamn city? And it's truthfully, it's only Mexicans, because them the only people down there. Y'all down there burning down cars and shit, fucking waving the Mexican flag and shit. Like, bro, what is you doing? If you love Mexico so bad, go the fuck back, my nigga.
I mean, what do you guys think about the video? Who wants to talk on it first?
I agree with him. Take your ass back where you came from. It is so disrespectful to come to the United States of America and wave another flag talking about F America. Well, if Mexico is so good, go back to your country, wherever you came from, Venezuela, Ecuador, Nigeria. If America is so bad, what you here for? Why? You should be waving the American flag. This is how we know they're not here to assimilate. They're here to take over and make America the proper way of their country, but they're too lazy and too inept to fix their own problems. And this is how I know that the Democrats were really trying to import voters, saying that they're being peaceful when they're burning cop cars, blocking the freeway, looting, fighting in the street. There is nothing peaceful about it. And I wish that they would really get a hold of this situation before it gets really out of hand. So that's my take.
Okay. Anybody disagree with her?
You bet not.
I think what's going on with them is like it's just the next ethnic group that's got an issue in America that gets a turn to act out, the way that they want to. It kind of reminds me of you guys remember seeing that movie The Siege with Denzel Washington and Bruce Willis, and it was a movie about martial law. You see all of these rumors on social media about martial law every time they see any type of imagery of military equipment movement and stuff like that, all the kind of conspiracy theories that go with it. But this is like the precursor for getting troops on the ground, which is what you're seeing with the National Guard getting involved. So
when it's a Whitey's turn,
people need to kind of like pay attention to this and recognize that the next time that there's a level of civil unrest, the response will be much more faster, a lot more brutal, and a lot more prompt. So,
send in the Marines.
I mean, I think that the left has put a battery in these people's backs. I mean, the victim mentality is I mean, for some reason we entertain the victim mentality these days. The left they wave the number one flag for it. And I feel for people to feel that type of confidence. I mean, that was in California, right? Yeah, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that stuff in a red state. I mean, let's think about it, because at the end of the day, what we've learned, especially from this last election, right? We've learned that victim mentality, for some reason, people are jumping on that boat right now. And those people that have the courage to do that on American soil, you say all the time, people are fighting to get into America. No one's fighting to get away. And those people that feel the courage to do that, it's most likely because of what is being entertained, especially in this day and age right now. A lot of stuff that's trending on social media now, this victim mindset, victim mentality. And that's why these people feel the courage to be able to do that on American soil. I mean, I feel like, and we've seen that in the election this year. The election is what empowered these the victim, and I'm so against the victim mentality. So when I see that stuff, it's kind of angering, honestly. And I feel like if you're here in America, if you're a patriot for America, if you really want to be here, do it the right way, do it the American way. All right, get your voter status right. I came here. I came here. I was I had my green card. You know, everyone laughs at you when you come to America with a green card, right? And I had my green card, and guess what? I became a citizen. I did it the right way. And I tell people
How
the
do
time,
you get a green card?
So when I came to America, my dad was already. I played basketball. So my dad, when I came over here, I came to live with my dad when I was 16. And when you're here for a certain amount of years, you're automatically eligible to get a green card. You're automatically eligible once you have your green card to get a citizenship. So I eventually got married, and people think I got married and got my citizenship by that. No, I got my citizenship just because after getting married, because I was able to be here after a certain amount of time. So I did it the right way. I went to go get my documents. I got my social security number way earlier. I worked hard. I took the test. I did everything the right way. And I feel like if you come over here illegally, you shouldn't be comfortable illegally. You should be coming over here to do the right thing, get things documented the right way. And if you know you've overstayed your welcome, you know that. Anytime you get caught, you've overstayed your welcome. How are you going to complain when you do things illegally? And I think that's where the left goes wrong. They forget that if someone's doing something illegal, that's it. You're doing it illegal. Point blank, period.
If you're scared for some reason, it's because you did something wrong. That's it.
So wait, you get a green card after you get married?
No. I got my green card because I was 16 years old and my dad was a citizen here. So when I moved over here, I was eligible to get my green card because of my age. After having it at that time, things have changed probably. I had it for 8 years, I believe. And then I was eligible to go get my citizenship. But it took me about 3 years after that to then eventually go get my citizenship. And then I became a citizen in 2015. So I've been a dual citizen now for Great Britain and for America since 2015. But I did it the right way.
Congratulations.
So it didn't have anything to do with getting married.
Yeah.
No.
I got you.
And I think that's the part that people are missing is that just like how you gave your story, you did it within a span of probably like 10 years or so, 10, 11 years or so. I was seeing stories, people were here for 30 years and never even got a green card.
Yeah, the worst part, they don't even try to learn our language. That's why I really don't feel bad. When ICE goes and picks these people up and they're recording it and they're like, no habla inglés. I'm like, take her ass on. Because how could you be here for literally decades and not even know how to
not even try
have small talk? That means you don't even respect this country or the people. You just here to have a free ride. So yeah, I just think that that's wildly disrespectful. Here for years and not even trying to become an actual citizen, but just to blend in and take whatever resources that you can. It's
Have
just
babies.
Exactly. I mean, hunting like wild animals in the forest just to secure their position here. It just doesn't make sense. Not to mention that the birthright, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just learned this year that the birthright citizenship was really for Black Americans, not for anybody in other places. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Who do you guys think put a battery in the back of these migrants though? Like, you don't think Americans?
Joe Biden, the liberal governors,
yeah,
congressmen and women,
liberal.
Everyone that entertains victim mindset. Here's the thing, right? I think what people have to realize is you got facts and feelings, right? Feelings are important when building relationships, connecting with people in your life. But when it comes to building a country and building leadership, end of the day, you got to go to the facts. You got to go to the things that are foundational. And what I think is the left argues to utilize feelings to make things pass over the line, where most people, we say, okay, hey, what are the facts? You have to, when you do something illegal, if you stole money for 5 years and we said nothing to you for 5 years, and all of a sudden we said, hey, you're stealing money, excuse me, can you stop stealing it? And now we're complaining, oh my God, but I've already been stealing it for 5 years. Why would you now tell me to stop stealing money? Bro, you've been stealing the money. Like, it doesn't, like, why are we even discussing this? And I think for some reason, and I've got other thoughts because of some of the other things the left is doing that now make people think feelings are good enough to make sense. And now it starts to leak into this migrant situation because there's some other stuff. I don't know if we're going to discuss that. There's some other stuff going on that now is being justified. And now it leaks into any type of thing that the liberals bring up, the left side brings up, they think is now justified because they think feelings. We're getting to a place now where feelings are now starting to be, people are trying to make feelings govern the world or govern America. When end of the day, feelings are important, but not for documentation, not for doing the legal thing.
Y'all not getting to the core root of the problem, but I'm gonna let y'all cook for a minute, and then I'm gonna.
I think people have been radicalized, and I don't know if people. Of course, when you have been radicalized, you're definitely going to lean more on feelings than facts. So I agree with Lars when it comes down to that. But it's a lot of manipulation that goes into it, and you're going to go to the environment where it's more permissive for you to just act on the way that you feel and try to justify it after the fact. But there's a big difference between pet peeve and policy, and the country is ran on policy. It can't be ran on pet peeves. So when you have more people that are functioning off of justifying the way that they are emotionally manipulated and trying to act out on it as if they've been miseducated, it shows a lack of initiative to understand what it takes to be safe here. And the lack of, I agree with Dalen when she brought up the inability or lack of will to understand where it is, where you're at culturally. Because if you've traveled abroad, you can't. Americans are the only people that go abroad and complain about them not speaking English wherever we go. You got to go learn the language. You know what I'm saying? You ever been to an ethnic grocery store and you're able to go in there and have a transactional experience? You go in there, you go to like a Mexican restaurant, and you might not be able to read the menu, but they compliment you by putting it in English and subtitles. If you ever been to El Paso, it's predominantly Mexican, American, right? But they'll have English written at the bottom to accommodate and at least leave some sort of ability to communicate. So when you've enabled people to think emotionally, it becomes the law. And it's at this point, it's a level of radicalization that's similar to, I go ahead and call it like the Taliban, you know what I'm saying, or Al Qaeda, in terms of trying to radicalize the local populace and motivate them emotionally in the absence of knowledge. And it's a fear-based, fear-mongering type of mindset.
Y'all overthinking it and y'all trying to make sense of it. But the reality of it is, and the brass tacks of it is, the minute that we start empowering women to have a choice in what happens and started pushing for them to start to participate more in what we got going on here in the United States of America, is when we started to see the liberal party become what it is. What y'all don't understand, and I don't know how old y'all are, but the Democrats today and what they consider liberalism or democratic policy is completely different than what it was in the 80s and even the 90s. This was something that they advocated against. This wasn't even an issue that we separated ourselves based off of politics. Republicans and Democrats both agreed that we needed to close off our borders. They both agreed that we shouldn't have illegal migrants coming over into the country. As a matter of fact, I played videos of Nancy Pelosi back in early 1994, 93, 94, of where she was saying exactly, word for word, exactly what Trump is saying today. And that even we needed to renegotiate our trade deals and that we needed to put tariffs on China. Literally word for word of what Trump is saying today. And so the minute that we started to empower women more to have a say-so politically, and see you, baby, good night. We started to empower women more to have a say-so politically. We started to see the downfall of America. And it's the same thing that's happening across the world. If you look at what's happening over in Mexico right now, you see Claudia Sheinbaum. Now she's a president of Mexico. You see female leadership starting to take place over in the EU. You see female leadership starting to take place over in a lot of these other countries where you had patriarchy. Now, I'm not saying that it's 100% right or everything is great or that we didn't have wars and things like that across the world. And I think that the majority of those wars and the things that we've been experiencing all have been politically motivated in order to continue to keep people's pockets lined. But when we talk about the very core root of what it is that we are as Americans, when you say feelings, for example, Victor, when you talk about feelings, when you talk Laura, I think it's Laura's.
Lowers.
Sorry for mispronouncing your names. When you talk about feelings, when you talk about these things, these are all feminine traits. Everybody has feelings, everybody has emotions, but men are taught, conditioned, groomed to not make decisions based off of emotion and start to make decisions based off of logic. because we can't afford to make these decisions. We can't afford to lose. We can't afford to be number two. We can't afford all of these things. So when I see men today, for example, I see men all the time inside of the chat. I see men jump on these panels. I see men all of the time. I expect it from the women because that's what women do. Women are illogical when they make emotional decisions. But when I see men act like bitches, when I see men act like females, when I see men getting their emotions and try to tell me how we need to acquiesce over to, scent pander, and then continue to try to make sure that they feel good about themselves, it shows me where we are as a nation, as a country. It shows me that we have a lot of single mothers that have created son husbands that make them feel good about it. And it shows me that when I see men that label their women as partners, when I see them following y'all to the polls to continue to vote for Kamala Harris, it gives me some insight into who it is that we've become as a nation and as a people. And even though we did vote in Donald Trump, let's be very clear, there is a lot of people, tens of millions of people that still voted for Kamala Harris, despite the fact that the Democrats have lost their way and become something completely different. When we see who the core is of these parties, when we see who's running, when we see all of these women on social media talking a shit and advocating for illegal migrants, women, black women, white women, all women, and then these men that's following behind them because they want some pussy, that tells me that we've been feminized. And the more that we allow for women to control what happens inside of politics and our households, the further below, the further behind, and the worse off we're going to be as a nation. The core problem is that we've allowed for femininity to take over politics. That's why y'all champion AOC. That's why y'all champion Jasmine Crockett. You don't even see men as the leaders of the Democratic Party no more. Nope. Crazy. It's Bernie Sanders because he's aligned himself with AOC. It's not any men. Hakeem Jeffries, they call him a knockoff Obama. They don't even give him any credence. They don't even put a woman in. They say that they had to get the black woman vote, that they had to get the white woman vote in order for Biden to even win the election, which I believe he stole. But regardless, he was the president for him to become the president of 2020, 2021 in the first place. That's how far we've fallen as a nation. We've let women determine what we do and how we move.
But I think that's completely different from femininity. That's just feminism. Feminism is anti-femininity, in my opinion.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. But we champion it, though. We celebrate it.
I think it also captures that there's a huge matriarchal split in our society where you got households that's, like with the traditional format of men leading the household, no matter how the format is. And those men voted conservatively. Even the men that chose to go vote blue, they're living in feminized households for the most part.
But they did it. They did it. Most of them did it secretly.
Oh, of
Even
course.
The guys that switched over, they scared to speak.
Yeah.
They scared. Yeah, I agree with that.
They really did. They scared.
Yep. Because if you just looked at it, if you looked at the last election, like it was a football game, and a lot of people was voting for Kamala, I'm like, how in the world how was Kamala going to be able to get the votes that Hillary Clinton couldn't even get? You know what I'm saying? With a woman of color, the ran on the same politics, just basically copied and pasted the same campaign, never campaign towards black men at all. And then until the end, it just shows you the priority. They didn't want black men that are traditionally masculine to have any type of say so or leverage in the conversation because they knew it would sway the average household. Most men are not down with the politics and the policies and the pet peeves.
I think you off on that. I don't think they fear y'all at all as black men.
Oh, I agree with that. They don't have to get us involved. They just said forget it. We don't need to even cater to them. And it showed in the prioritization when they got ready to get Obama to come back and try to talk to them.
No, it shows because y'all pussy whip. And the women know it. The women know all they gotta do is throw it back for a real one. Y'all gonna shut the fuck up.
I agree with that too.
Y'all gonna shut the fuck up because y'all scared that y'all gonna lose out on some box. Y'all so scared of these women that you're gonna lose out on a little bit of head that you willing to sell out. The biggest sellouts is dudes that do it for the pussy.
I'm agree. Hey, completely agree.
You ain't got to worry about race relations. You ain't got to worry about politics.
Nope.
All you got to do is throw a fat ass right there in front of you, and it's over. Niggas will fall, they'll melt, they'll sell out their homeboy, they'll shoot their partner, they'll do anything that you want them to do. And I said it a long time ago, and I'm gonna say it again. The biggest threat to a man, specifically, especially black men, is a fat ass.